The Better Business Bureau released a 44-page report on the riskiest scams for 2018, and what investigators found might surprise you. Seems more and more younger consumers are becoming the victims of high-tech scammers. On Your Side's Ken Amaro spoke with a local BBB about its findings.
That's correct, Jenny. Last year, the Better Business Bureau received more than 50,000 reports on its scam tracker site. And the 44-page report shows that the tech-savvy scammers are still very busy, hiding behind a computer screen, robbing victims of their hard-earned money. In fact, the faces on the cover of the report shows that no one is exempt. Once again, we saw that scammers using the internet in their ploy were targeting consumers making online purchases or simply just looking for a job. The report, which is produced every year, found that in 2018, there was a spike in the number of victims ages 18 to 24. Shannon Nelson is with the Jacksonville Better Business Bureau.
We saw that younger consumers are more susceptible to scams, which is not what people believe. People believe that it's all, senior citizens and things like that, but they're more likely to lose higher dollar amount, but younger consumers, 18 to 24-year-olds, are more susceptible to scams.
Now, the three riskiest scams for that age group are employment scams, fake check money orders, and online purchases. The report says there were at least a 6% increase in complaints over 2017. The question tonight, what do you do? You should always ask questions, check them out, and don't respond to a high-pressure pitch. Coming up at 5:30, I'll tell you about the three most costliest scams.
Ken, thanks for the heads up on that. And if you have a story that you'd like our On Your Side team to investigate, send an email to onyourside@firstcoastnews.com.